Welcome back, guys. So I hopefully you can hear me. There goes the landowner. Didn't know if they were going to stop and try to talk to me. Sorry about that. Anyway, opening day of 2024 fall trapping season here. I'm on the river. This is part of the long river that we caught the majority of our beaver on this spring. I'll flip you guys around here in a minute and show you. There's a tributary over here where it winds off and splits off. They've been seeing supposedly they've been seeing a lot of muskrat activity here. I'm looking for some muskrats just to get an idea on the primeness of fur at the moment. And I need bait for December for bobcat and fisher and things like that. Sometimes I use it in the carcass, sometimes I make my predator bait. I'm probably going to do both depending on how much I get here, if I get anything. But again, I just want to see primarily what the primeness is. I'm getting blasted by the sun, so hopefully you guys are able to see once I spin you around here. But let's take a look. All right, so as you can see, or I hope you can see with the glare, I'm trying to stay underneath these trees. That's one of the cages that I built. I had on video there. I decided to say the heck with it and just go with a Molotov cocktail of apples and carrots. I think my kids might have thrown a couple pieces of pineapple in there, but that's no big deal. Just let them have at it, see how that goes. It's in the bait chamber, they can't really get to it anyways, but I did stick a few pieces out partially. If they do get curious and come up here, I want them to associate it with food. I'm going to stick it in here and try to somewhat cover it the best I can a little bit so that they kind of don't shy away from it too bad, and we'll go from there. But anyway, the water's way down. We haven't had much rain since springtime. I would be standing at about 3 feet of water. You can't really see up there, but there's a little shed. The water was almost to that shed. Where I'm standing, I'd be in about 3 feet of water, and so it's down a ton. Anyway, that's the main travel point, goes up by the bridge where you saw us catching a bunch of beaver. On that trolley line that I was talking about, if you guys have been following along, watching my videos. Speaking of which, to all of you guys that are subscribed and watching my videos and interacting with my channel, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it. But anyway, right there, it splits off and goes that way and this way, and it's almost an island there. So yeah, they've been seeing a lot of rats right here. It's a good junction point. Unfortunately, even if I had my waders, it's too deep in there. It's probably 5.5 or 6 foot deep right there, but there's 2 to 3 feet of just muck on the bottom of this thing. It's like quicksand. So I can never get through there. I'd have to come in here if I wanted to get over there. Get a canoe or a kayak or something, which I still may do later on. Hopefully the sun is allowing that to be picked up. There's a beaver slide or an otter slide. It looks like a beaver. It's pretty wide right there, going up in right there. And then, boy, with this glare, I can't tell if you can see or not. I'm trying my best here, guys. There's a smaller cut in the bank right there. That looks like there's smaller critters going up and out right there, so I'm wondering if either an otter has a toilet up there or if that's muskrat going up in there. But anyway, we shall find out here very shortly. I'm going to try not to drown and sink all the way to my chest in this mud while I put this in, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like after it's in. All right, so before you guys go saying anything, I realize that this spot in general is not the best place to put it. I'd really like to be around bulrushes or grass out in the water where I could kind of tuck it back. They're more comfortable in there. They feel hidden. However, look at all the bait fish coming up through here. Sorry, I saw puppies. See them all in there? I stirred that mud up, and every single one of them bait fish are, I mean, it's a trail all the way up, coming up to see what's going on. they're mostly trout spawn and things like that, which is nice to see. We're keeping these waters clean, we're keeping the dams knocked down. So yeah, it's good to see that. Anyway, back to this. I just covered it a little bit. I wanted to kind of see somewhat how they react to it, but I also wanted them to be somewhat comfortable around it. So just spitballing here, just giving her a go. I don't know, I may change some things up, but I know I definitely would like to find an area where I could tuck it back in and cover it in grass. But for now, and testing purposes, that rope that's right there is just to help stabilize the trap. It had a little bit of wobble. Like I said, that's a lot of muck on the bottom, and I didn't want to drive it all the way in there, just for testing purposes. I do have it at water's level. The front's about a 1/4 inch deeper than I'd like it to be, but it is what it is. I tried to adjust it, but I started sinking out of sight. So anyway, I do have a trail camera here that I'm going to try to put on this to see if we can possibly get some video of at least seeing if they interact with it at all, even if we don't get any. So yeah, you guys hang around. I got this weekend. I have to take my son. It's his first youth weekend for deer, so we're going to be doing that. And if I have chance midday, I'll come in and check this. Otherwise, I'll probably be doing it in the dark. So I'll see you guys then. What is up, you guys? So me and the monstrosity still out. We're still out for the first day of youth weekend here, Vermont. And we're going to come down and just take a quick look at this rat trap that we set in here and see if we've had any activity at all, just to see. And then I got to go up by the bridge and I got to set 2 beaver traps because it's also the beginning of first trapping season. So anyway, take a look here real quick. Well, she's still there. Looks like all the bait's there. I haven't seen it. Doesn't look like anything's chewed on any of it. So they may still be getting used to it. It is out in the wide open, like I said, but I just want to do a test. And I do have a camera here on it so that I can check. Even if we don't get anything, I can at least look and see if we had anything nearby, checking it out or whatnot. But anyway, we're going to go up and set those beaver traps, and then we got to get back to hunting. All right, guys, I know it's muddy. We're in a bit of a hurry trying to get out. My drowning wire anchored all the way out to deep water. Caster mound right there. My raging beaver lure on it. Slicked that up a little bit. My trap is sitting right there for a front foot catch, hopefully. It's plenty deep enough to drown them out there in a back foot, but I prefer front feet catches if I can get them. We're gonna go across over there on that side of the bridge. Right over there, right up against the bridge, he's got a trail he's been going up in doing some cutting. We're gonna set a 330 in there. Okay guys, I apologize for the wind and it's cranking 15-20 miles an hour today. We've got vehicles driving by on this bridge. It's a pretty busy traveled bridge. This is the bridge on the trolley line where we caught a bunch of beaver. That whole trolley line, we caught like 15 out of here last year, or last spring I should say. You can see right here, he's been traveling in, the grass is matted down. Been going underneath this right here. You can see his track possibly right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 toes all the way down, coming up in here. And he just recently started doing some chewing in here, so we're going to try to get ahead of it and get him caught. I'm going to put a 330 right underneath that grass, so that grass is still over the top with the opening just being the 330. I'm going to anchor it off, and I may throw a stick back here just for craps and giggles, and with some raging beaver on it just to try to entice them. But the wind is blowing the wrong way at the moment. That's why I put the grounder on the other side of the bridge there. So anyway, let me get this set. All right guys, there it is. Excuse me. 330 right in that run. I got the grass put back over it, so it looks like that's still open. Push this down a little bit more. Looks like that's still the open spot right there. Okay. You get the idea. Told you guys I was going to be running cables on all my anchors on all my 330s this year, and I am. A little bit of my raging beaver right there just to entice his, stick his nose through there. And we're off. We're going hunting. Hang in there, guys. We'll see if we get anything at all. Well, guys, there he is. Get a look at him here in a minute, but that's that where I had that 330 up under that grass, and he was coming up in here doing this chewing. Wanted to get ahead of him. I mean, you see how far he is able to get out there. That's why I have so much cable on there. That way they can get under the water. We got so many birds of prey and stuff around here and everything chewing them up that I wanted to get them out of the water. So, but yep, you can see the spring of the 330 sticking up in him. We'll pull him up here and take a look at him. We went over and checked the drowner first on the other side, and it's still there. So I'm guessing it may just be this one, but we'll leave that drowner in for a couple days and see what happens. Well, I was wrong, guys. It's not a 2-year-old. That's an adult beaver, which is odd. I thought I had them all out of here. Figured this was just a traveling 2-year-old, but this is actually an adult. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Chase and I come out to check that muskrat trap, and right there's a muskrat. The muskrat trap's over around the corner there. Now we may have to move it, or go back and get some of your footholds. Cool. Well, there you have it, guys. This is that first beaver of the fall 2024 season. In that 330 down at the bridge. I kind of thought, based on the chewings and the tracks, that it was going to be a 2-year-old, but upon further inspection, that's a big beaver. It's not a ginormous beaver, but that beaver's 35, 40 pounds all day, probably, or more. I'll see if I can find my scale and get a weight on him, but big old dome on him. First beaver of the season, guys. Back at it. Not going to be doing anything fast and furious. Like I said, I wanted to check the fur situation, and he's got pretty good guard hairs, and the underwool looks good. So I'd say we're safe from here on to continue trapping. So like I said, I always try to make sure that I'm not saying he's 100% prime, but he's pretty close. So he's definitely, with the weather and the lighting, the days shortening and everything, they definitely put his started putting his winter coat on anyway. Sorry, I'm mumbling and stumbling here. But there it is. Anyway, just wanted to share with you guys that you watch those areas that you previously trapped and see the sign that they're showing you. You see the sign that they're showing you, and that was, you could see where he was coming up off there and going up underneath the grass. It's just a perfect place to set a 330. I mean, as long as you have it open in there, so it looks like it's still able to be passed through. Whoops, sorry. Still able to be passed through, and nothing hindering their way. I put that grass back over the top of it just to break the outline of the trap up. I'm glad I put that cable on there. He was able to get far enough out in the water, nothing got to him or her. Can't really tell with this one. I think it's a him. And judging by just the overall look of him, but you never know. Definitely not showing if there's, it's never had a litter if it's a female. So anywho, welcome back to everything, to the new season, and I can't wait to get out and do some stuff with you guys. Like I said, I'm not going to hit fall super hard. I'm just trying to get some meat, see what the primeness was of the fur. and get ready for predator trapping. And then come, depending on what the weather does, December, January, maybe February, in that time frame. You might do some winter trapping if we get good ice. We haven't had good ice in a couple of years. Yeah, if we don't do any winter trapping, we're definitely going to hit it in the springtime, because anybody that's ever beaver trapped in the springtime knows that castor mounds are gold, and you can go in and take out quite a few beaver in a hurry and move on to another area and still not take them all. You're still leaving seeds. Like I explained last year, you know, you're only taking a percentage of the population. You're not even seeing, you know, the whole thing. So anyway, tight chains to everybody, and I can't wait to see you guys out on the line. I can't wait to see some of my subscribers have their own channels, and I can't wait to see what they do and how they make out this year. And yeah, it's just all around exciting. So we'll be back. Thanks again. God bless. Like, share, and subscribe, please.